Yes, Hickok 45 here, your internet shooting companion, coming to you from Tennessee. Another Sunday from the hills of Tennessee, the beautiful green hills still of Tennessee, the home of Davy Crockett, Jeff Quinn, James Yeager. Yes, all sorts of people. Bill Smith, Ralph Wilson. Who are they? I don't know, but I bet you there's a Bill Smith and a Ralph Wilson in Tennessee somewhere. You might even be watching, and you wonder how I know you're here. Yeah, kind of scary, huh? Better put some tape over that camera on your laptop. So yeah, I'm here again, and you're here, so it's a good Sunday, right? And you see what I have out? I have another jewel out that's been neglected. You know, when you have a fair number of firearms, it's just the nature of the beast that many of them are going to be a little neglected, right? Be like having, well, if you had 100 wives or 200 wives or husbands, some are going to get neglected. Not to equate firearms with that. The M14, the LRB. And this is a sweetie. It is specifically the M14SA single action, and LRB arms, and it is supposedly the most like the original M14. About as you can get. Okay, forged receiver and all that. You've seen maybe I'll link to a video, but I have a couple, 3 videos with the LRB. And it's the only M14 I have now. I gave the Springfield Armory to John when I bought this. I've had the Scout rifle. I've had the SOCOM. I've had various versions of the M1A, or the M14. Of course, this is semi-automatic. And I don't know, I thought my favorite was the Scout rifle, I guess it was, the shorter one. I really liked that. If you watch the video, I'm slobbering all over it and loving it and everything. But I don't know, the more time passed and I shot them all, it's a big old heavy rifle. I hope I don't have to carry this to battle. I hope I don't have to carry anything to battle, but I think it would be an AR-15 if I had to go to battle. And it makes this thing feel like a tank, right? It's a range gun. All my guns are range guns. I hope that's all they ever are, right? Other than a carry, firearm, defensive pistol for that. But I just think I favor the full size classic M14 configuration. Just if I'm just gonna have one, and it's enough. So that's it. But they're all great and they're all fun to shoot, aren't they? Man. M14, kind of a controversial firearm. Are there any firearms that are not controversial? Is there anything in today's world, with social media, the internet, that is not controversial? I think early 90s, mid 90s, everything became controversial, right? Especially, I think there's a direct correlation between how controversial things seem to be and with the growth of the social media and the internet. Yeah, pretty brilliant, aren't I? Yeah, it didn't take a genius to figure that one out. All these millions and millions of people just didn't know it, but they were just waiting for an opportunity to start typing on keyboards and on phones and creating controversy where there really is not much, right? Now, that's maybe not the case with the M14. There are legitimate controversies with a lot of firearms, especially military firearms. Did they work? Were they effective? How were they adopted? And all that kind of, why were they adopted? And all that sort of thing. But the M14 does have its detractors and its friends. I am mostly a friend, but I don't know that I'd want to carry it. Yeah, it seems like everybody has to be either a hater or a lover of whatever it is, right? It's hard to be in the middle and see both sides or enjoy it. and maybe just not like it as much as some other people, and see the misgivings and see the advantages, but and then weigh it all. So speaking of weigh it, let's weigh it. Yeah, it's heavy. Nice rifle. And I took a couple shots before you got here. You probably didn't hear them where you were. You probably still sleeping or something, and so you didn't hear those shots. And because I thought, okay, the last time I shot this, I'm thinking I was experiencing the sights might not have been on perfectly, that maybe it was shooting a little bit higher or low. I wasn't sure. Too many guns, right? And so I said, okay, I do this every Sunday, and I do it with the same gun. When it's really bad is when I do it with the same firearm. Bring out how I do that, just test everybody, see how long it is before I begin to see comments. I shouldn't have told you. I had to do that with one of my rifles that I don't shoot that often, but some nice rifle. And every time I get it out, complain about, oh yeah, I think shoots a little high. I need to adjust the sights. I'll do that. But then never do it. Every time I bring it out, act surprised all over again. Yeah, this thing shoots high. Yeah, I'll fix those sights before I bring it out again. And then just do that for about 5 years. That'd be funny. And just ignore comments. Anybody makes them out, or just agree. Yeah, I'll do that. So anyway, the M14, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Who else? Of course, Balsall and Talon Grips that help us out. Gun Fun Targets that print our targets for us. And then, of course, Alabama Holster. I've got one in my pocket, and I'm going to shoot the gun that's in it today. Yeah, great little manufacturer of concealment Kydex holsters. Really good ones. Belt, pocket, purse, you name it. Check their site out, alabamaholster.com. Yep, I got one right here I'm going to shoot in just a minute, probably. Yeah, but I was going to mention, I hope I met a lot of you yesterday at the meet and greet in Greenville. Okay, got a lot going on at the end of this week, so I'm in the middle of the week. But I'll be in Greenville, Kentucky at I was in Greenville, Kentucky at Uncle Lee's, and I met a lot of you. It was great to meet you. I'll assume it was. Okay, and that's a pretty safe assumption because it's always good to meet you all. So we have a classy group of viewers. I'll have to say for 99.9%. I mean, especially anybody I run into and have a conversation with. Now, anybody that wanders in on a video, of course, there could be any goofball that just has to be a troll or whatever. But I mean, as far as real people that actually shoot or have interest in firearms, and I run into, it's a classic group, and 99% of people that post, right? So, I hope I saw you yesterday in Greenville, and speaking of that, I ran into I was in Kentucky at a gun show last Saturday. Yeah, it was rainy. I just drove up to a it's very little gun show in Madisonville, Kentucky, and I stopped to eat breakfast at Denny's. And it's funny, the guy in the booth right in front of me came over and said hi. He was already seated, not to get his food, but he was from the UK, and he comes over here every year to shoot and does different things, competes, 3-gun matches and that kind of thing up in that area. But it's funny to run into him. Good to talk to him. I mean, it's so funny. That must be strange, That's like the old deal, people. I don't know if anybody's done that in my world in decades, but people have a tendency to not think, especially people who haven't traveled much or more unsophisticated people might. So you say you were, I went to the fair Saturday. Or, did you see Ralph? He was supposed to be there. Or, I went to Murfreesboro yesterday. Oh, you didn't run into so-and-so, did you? Well, no. There's only 2 million people there live there or something. But the odds of that is kind of funny. The guy comes to the United States once a year and does some things. He's sitting in a restaurant eating dinner, and I mean, as a viewer now, it's not any kind of coincidence if you don't even know who the heck Hickok 45 is or gun videos or anything about that. But if you do watch gun videos, and he watches our videos and everything, and then you're in Kentucky, You're not even in Tennessee, and you're at Denny's eating, and there I come in, sit down right almost beside him, and it just is a funny coincidence. I love that when people are traveling through Tennessee as I'm gassing up. It happens pretty often, and I'll run it. Someone will say something or recognize me, and we're gassing up the other pump. I've told you all about that. And they're from Kalamazoo, Michigan, or somewhere, or Miami, Florida, and they're driving through, and they come up 65, 24, I-24, or whatever, and they just, I mean, for them, it's like this incredible coincidence in a lot of ways, if they're a viewer of the videos, But for me, it's not, because I'm going to see whoever's at the gas station if I go over there and gas up near the interstate, right? So anyway, October's coming. It's getting close to pumpkin time, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So this M14 is a nice rifle. And you know what, before I shoot it again, let's go ahead and dig into my pocket, see what I can find. And it has carry ammo in it, something that you should always do, I should always do occasionally, is pull out whatever you're carrying, whatever kind of holster it's in, with whatever ammo you carry. Yeah, it's wise choice, Yep. What is that? What is that? This will help give you a hint. Yeah. FN. It is the Reflex. So that was just a natural reflex. Pull it out to shoot it. I told you I bought one for myself, and I did. And and I don't think I fired it since I got the Talon grips on it. And see that. Now I requested the tan ones, and they just didn't have any yet. These are like really early, first cut for this gun. I don't know if they're even on their website yet, but I'll get some tan ones. It'll be prettier, okay, once I get those on. But that's okay. It's a functional firearm. It's function over form, right? I even have another magazine here. Let's load it up. Shoot a couple more times. Oh, wow. Why is it so loud? Yeah. I like it, man. That trigger is heavenly. Just empty that thing. All right, that is pretty nice. You notice I tend to empty guns when I'm, when we're shooting. That gives me a little more freedom to, show them around or that kind of thing, which again, you normally wouldn't do at a shooting range. I've talked about that before. We goofballs who make gun videos, we violate the rules, quote unquote, of the range sometimes. We would never turn around with firearms like that. That just, everybody would go diving, if your local range. You see me at the range, I'm shooting, I turn around, I've got my gun, like, obviously you wouldn't do that. It's a artistic license, when you're talking to the camera. Now, if the camera was right there, I wouldn't have to do that, right? If you all would stand in front of me while I shoot, just get you some ballistic vests and different things, and helmets and all that kind of thing. I could just shoot and not worry about you. You could just stand out in front of me, right? So anyway, yeah, pretty cool. But what a trigger! What a trigger! Maybe too good a trigger. What do you think? I'll reload this one. Yeah, I could, because I'm probably going to want to shoot this thing again. I want to test it. Again, you really should. I know it's expensive, but you really should rotate, cycle through the ammo you keep in a firearm. It just makes sense. Whether every 6 months or every month or once a year, whatever. Because if that ammo is in a lot of changing environments, occasionally it's in the hot car for a day, or the freezing car for a week, or whatever it might be, or on your hip, freezing on I don't know, you're out hiking, it's 20 degrees all day, I don't know, it just, ammo survives that kind of environment really well, in my experience. And but still, it's good to go ahead and cycle through it. Put some fresh ammo in every 6 months, whatever you can afford. And plus it gives you the opportunity to test the feel of that ammo. You know, then I did no big surprises there in the way it felt. That first mag that I pulled out was my carry ammo. The second mag I put in was just range ammo. Kind of felt the same. The carry ammo might have been a little hotter, but in terms of point of impact and the feel of it, I didn't get surprises. I know what it's going to feel like, and that's what you want to do. Just get that muscle memory, that brain memory, in your head. That makes sense. Well, I hope so. I hope so. Someone made a comment. That's funny. Well, I think I talked about that AK thing, didn't I? Yeah, I think I did. I won't bore you with that again. What's coming up? You need to know about anything? That was the last meet and greet for the fall. We normally don't do that many meet and greets. Just depends. At maybe NRA meeting, of course, we do them. If we're at SHOT Show and one our sponsors wants to do one, we do it. And then with buds, we do at least one a year generally, but we let you know. Okay? And I do meeting and greeting every day when I get out and around. So, what do you want to know about? Anything? Yeah, this M14, let's shoot it. I watched a video, what's his name, Chris, Small Arms Solutions, really sharp guy on military rifle and things. He has a video on the M14. I watched it, it's been a year ago, I guess, and I know in that he goes through a lot of the negative aspects of it, and I've read other places, and it's, while most people, vets, soldiers that have carried these like them. You can see the comments, as I've mentioned before, in any of the M14 videos, M1A, and you see comments from so many soldiers, vets that carried it and loved it, and many comments where they hated to give it up when they went off to Vietnam and preferred it over the M16 they were handed or whatever. You see that, gosh, just all the time. You really do. But on a macro level, looking at the big picture, this rifle was a big old powerful rifle, battle rifle, in Vietnam. When you're ambushed, you're walking through terrain like this, or thicker, of course, and you're out in the middle of it, and all of a sudden, 8 or 10 guys open up on you with AKs. Firing back full auto, and as I have read, I haven't been in the military, as I say all the time, but sometimes the only way out of an ambush is with superior firepower. Yeah, I mean, often from what I've read, you're dead unless you can react with at least equal and maybe superior firepower and overwhelm it. The best way to survive it and get out of it, kind of thing. Because they got you, man, ambush. And it was just difficult with this big old battle rifle to deliver that kind of firepower. For one thing, very tough to control in full auto, very tough. And then just 20 round mags. I don't know, there may have been some 30 round mags back then, I don't know, but it's very tough to control. And so it shines as like a marksman's rifle, and a great rifle. That's why they dug so many of them out during Afghanistan, when we were in Afghanistan, and because of the ranges and needed more range and power. And great rifle, just not maybe as effective as an intermediate cartridge, in the jungle, like a M16 or AK. Even though it's just such a desirable rifle, and it is, of course, compared with the M16 for that reason. And when you look at this beauty and you hold it and you fire it, wood and steel and 30 caliber, sweet to shoot, powerful cartridge, it's a battle rifle. And as sweet as it is, you know, you're just not going to deliver a whole lot of firepower as quickly, you know, when needed in those kinds of circumstances, probably. So, but anyway, that's something people can argue about. Really nice rifle. I like them. I plan to always own one. I really like them a lot, and just a great semi-automatic 308. It's you know, I've owned Galil, FN 308s. What else? Gosh, what is it from Finland? The M40. I forget what it is. I had one of those a long time ago. When I first moved out here, I had it, and it was a 308. And I've probably had some others. What am I not thinking about? I've not had a HK91. I fired them, you know. Silencer Central, you know, brought one down, select fire one we fired. Had kind of a funky stock and some things on it, but that was neat to be able to fire that. But yeah, but this is my battle rifle, my 308 battle rifle, basically. Well, I like it, so I guess I'll keep it, right? You think I should? Can I shoot this thing again? The FN Reflex. All right. Now, I don't have a holster yet for it. This is for the P365. I'm waiting on a holster. And let's make it hot. Put it in the holster. Put it in my pocket. And yeah, I'm just making sure I like it. I think I do. I think I do. Yep, I do. I'm really trying to decide in my rotation. I really like the 642, of course. I like the Kimber K6 XS, right? So I'm either carrying that or this right now, and trying to decide on the carry rotation between this and the P365, I think. Decide which one I like, which one edges out the other. And it is really just the edging out. It certainly is. So many great guns these days. Right? You agree? Of course you do. Oh man, what else before I keep you too long? Again, I should, a warning, I should lead with this every Sunday. This is a Sunday video, viewers. You know, this is a Sunday video. And it's yakking and shooting, okay? More yakking than normal, or more yakking off topic, put it that way. I guess I yak a lot in, you know, all the gun videos. You know, I'm sorry about that. Probably not going to change, you know. And I don't mean to be a smart aleck when I answer somebody. I think this week I saw a comment about that. You know, and, too much talking in some gun video, or maybe it's a Sunday video. I don't know, but I'll just tell people, yeah, you're right, but it's I'm too old to change, so, you know, sorry, find somebody else to watch, you know, I'm not going to be changing, you know. So anyway, I try not to yak too much off topic in regular gun videos. So I did want to talk a little bit off topic, young people, any people, okay? We're all young people. I was eating in a restaurant today, and there was a guy, he was a big guy. He was having trouble getting around. He was, I don't know. I have a hard time telling how old people are. I always have. Never been good at that. He was probably 85, late 80s or something, and he was having a hard time getting around. But I mean, everybody, you know, no matter what age you are, if you're still kicking, still thinking, you know, there's hopefully things left to learn, put it that way, right? Unless you just don't have any interest in learning or improving your life at all. But I feel like I am kind of obligated. I have discovered things in the last, whatever, 6-7 years that have helped me. So I'm not going to go into it all. I talk about it a lot, I guess, already. You know, whether it's finances or diet, two of the things that humans have the most difficulty with. Is there anything under the sun that humans have a bigger problem with? Managing their money and managing their food, what goes into their mouth, right? And both have an incredible effect on us. I've learned so much more about that, and the nutrition things, and wow, it's not, people exercise and they can't seem to make a lot of progress. It's what you're eating, So again, if I don't do anything else, I will have helped people. If you just know, get started, and then you'll get on a roll. Yeah, it is when you get into a topic. If I decided I was going to start painting cars, repainting cars, I guess, or fixing cars, doing body work, is what I'm trying to say, on cars, which I can't do. If I decided to get into that, or I decided I wanted to study it, and I Googled it, I found a video on it, YouTube or wherever, and watched it, and found out, well, for the next months and months, I'm going to be getting videos from anybody who does that, right? I'll probably get them now just from talking about it. Yeah, how that is. Google is listening. Whereas up until this minute, I don't know if I've ever gotten one. But if I look at one or two, I'll get more and more and more. And if I decide I want to do body work on Fords, and I'm Googling that, and I'm looking at Ford video, I'll get videos about Fords and body work, won't I, mostly? So you'll get more of it. So it'll, way leads on to way, as Robert Frost said. So anyway, on nutrition, and you can rewind this and get the titles. Don't take my word for anything, but I'll tell you some great references. Well, let's start on finances, young people. I was reading Rob Berger's book this week. What was it? Retire Before Mom and Dad. And I've watched his videos, probably all of them, for last year. And I just never got his book. I thought, okay, I don't know what that's about exactly. But I bought it. I said, look, I watch this guy all the time. I'm going to buy his book. And I'm about 3/4 of the way through it now. And it's one of the best books on finance. It's wonderful in investing. It's just simple, the numbers, and lays it out. It's great. It's great. I've told him that. He needs to promote that book more. He almost never talks about it. Anyway, Retire Before Mom and Dad, Rob Berger, his videos, man, he'll put you on the right track. For example, I was looking, Warren, who was it? No, it was in his book. That's right. He quotes Warren Buffett, and actually goes back to Samuel Johnson. Brother, was one of the greatest quotations. It affects the diet, finance, and everything about us. And I had never seen this quotation. But remember this. Write it down. Look it up. This is Warren Buffett's version of it. He says, chains, C-H-A-I-N-S, chains, chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken. That is great. Chains of habit are too light to be felt until they're too heavy to be broken. Man, that should be emblazoned on the dashboard of my car, because that's the way habits are. Bad habits, good habits, you don't realize you're developing that habit, do you, until it's too late to break it. So if it's a positive thing, it's better. Okay, so on finance, John Bogle. Anything about written by John Bogle? He invented or came up with the index fund and Vanguard. John Bogle. He's dead now, but browse through the bogleheads.org website. Any of the books, like Boglehead's Guide to Investing, Boglehead's 3-Fund Portfolio. Those are great. John Bogle's book, one of the very best ones, is Little Book of Common Sense Investing. It's the title of it. And that's a good one to start with, or where is it? The exact title. J.L. Collins, The Simple Path to Wealth. That might be the very best one to read first. And then John Bogle's Little Book of Common Sense, maybe, and kind of get from there. And then Rob Berger's book about Retire Before Mom and Dad. It doesn't matter how old you are. You're older, or your mom and dad are gone, like mine, or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's still a great book. More Straight Talking on Investing. Jack Brennan, another great one. The 3-Fund Portfolio mentioned. Anyway, I've read all of those, and they are. I highly recommend all of them. Okay. You won't be disappointed if you have any interest in that. And they're not like really crazy deep things. Obviously, I wouldn't understand them, right? Pretty good, pretty good. The financial media, most of what one thing you learn about if you study it is you read some of these books, you'll realize something you might not have realized before. Some of you already know this. We grow up and we see these MSND, or we see the financial channels, and we see the magazines, we read a little bit of it, and we hear some people talking about it, and the Dow and the S&P and different things, and this stock and that stock, and this sector's doing well, that one, and we see the whole financial world and investing as something way more complicated than it is. And we really do, and that's to their benefit. The media, the shows on this stuff, they've got to make us think it's complex, and you've really got to study, and you've got to pay somebody to help you if you're going to invest. I mean, that's all to their advantage, right? And it's absolutely not the way it is. Absolutely not the way it is. So anyway, that's one thing. Now on nutrition, again, Dr. Ken Berry, a great place to start. Ben Bikman, Dr. Ben Bikman, man, hear him talk about insulin resistance, okay, metabolic syndrome. I watched a lecture he gave in the UK. I think it was recently, I watched it recently. And he had a little problem with their clicker. Apparently he had to tell people to advance the slides. That must have been so annoying when he got there. Traveled across the country. I think he lives out in Utah, and then to the UK, and for a presentation, and they don't have a clicker or something to advance the slides, I guess. But he handled it very, very well. But anyway, yeah, Dr. Ben Bikman, anything on him, and of course Ken Berry, Lies Your Doctor Told You is a good one to read. I've read his books, and Bikman. So anyway, and then more good stuff will pop up. You go looking at them and watching them on YouTube, and you'll get all kinds of good things. So anyway, just two areas. I know I talk about them a lot when I'm off topic of guns, and it's for good reason. I have learned a lot in both areas in the last 20 years. I got to studying finance and investing back in the year 2000. I inherited a little money from my parents when they passed, and I wanted to use it wisely, invest it wisely, and not be an idiot and just run through it. I was teaching at the time, and I went on a mission. I bought every magazine, a lot of books. I remember Maria Bartoloma, and we all know, and her first book, different magazines, and I Investing for Dummies, and I can't remember some of the other titles. Some of Bogle, I think I read Bogle on mutual funds at that time, maybe. I don't know, I read several, but anyway, I've learned a lot in the last 20 years, but mostly in the last couple or three, about how so much of what I thought early on, even with my reading, was bogus. I used to wonder, why this seems simpler than it is, because you just look at what funds or stocks have a good history. Who are the best performers the last 5 years? I remember being at the beach reading a magazine, probably Money Magazine, whatever it was called. It had a list of funds ranked, their returns over the last 5 years, and it was maybe 30 of them or something, top 20 or 30 funds. And this one's gone up 15 and 14% and everything. Well, that solves that, Just invest in those. Well, again, a little learning is a dangerous thing. The more you study, the more you realize that might be exactly the one you don't want to invest in, that has the positive past performance. Anyway, talk too much on it. But I feel like I've done my part to give you guys some names, you gals and guys, some names to get into, and then, you can reject or accept anything you read, but a lot of good stuff there with those people, okay? And as far as I know, none of them's a gun nut, okay? So I'm not biased. I'm not recommending any of those folks because they have a great gun collection. Although I did hear in an interview Ken Berry mentioned something about having a shotgun. Yeah, he lives out here in Tennessee somewhere, you know, on a farm. And so he can't be all bad. He has a shotgun, right? I think I've got one of those too. All right. M14. I think the sights are pretty much on. So if I can see it, I should be able to hit it. You know what I mean? I'm going to knock that ram over up there. I knocked him over. Mr. Pig is hanging. No, a buffalo, so I can't knock him over. I knocked that bowling pin over. Man, I bet I can blow up that red 2-liter also. There we go again. Another physics lesson. I don't know if y'all saw that. Let me put it on safe and point it in that direction. Gotta make sure y'all saw that. See, here's where he started. Right here. That's about, whatever, 5 or 6 yards. He's all the way up here at that stump. So, things that get shot that have a lot of water in them do strange things. So keep that in mind if you're ever on the forensics team of an assassination or something, okay? All right. Just like to point that out. What if we go through that bucket? I think it did. I think it did. Yeah, I mean this rifle is not light, and yeah, you get a little recoil with a 308. You do. I mean it's a soft shooting rifle, but you know when you've been used to shooting, say like this week, a lot of firearms that are not this powerful, you can feel it. You know, man, that's a real round. And if you had a switch here to pop that onto full auto, you better hang on and be ready. You know, and that was one of the problems with it. You have people, maybe especially during wartime, getting shipped off to Vietnam or whatever, maybe they haven't had a lot of experience shooting this thing full auto, much at all, and you know, then all of a sudden it hits the fan and they wish they had an AK, you know, or an M16 that worked, right? So interesting. Wonderful rifles, no doubt about it. Sometime, if you have never fired one, I don't know, maybe somewhere you shoot or a firing range or a gun shop you frequent has one for rent. Probably not as common, yeah, especially an indoor range, I guess. But find a buddy that has one and shoot it sometime. I think you really like it. You might not be desperate to own it, but I think you would really like it. I mean, it was the U.S. rifle for a period of time, and pretty cool. I've just always liked it. It's a doozy. It is a doozy. Great sights, great feel, and of course I linked it a little bit. You know me, got to do that. I got a couple of bullets left in this magazine, and I should let you go, I guess. I think the last couple of weeks I've yacked and shot for an hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half almost one Sunday. I'm getting bad. I'm getting so bad. Let me put, there's only about 3 rounds in there. I'll put a couple more rounds. If that's going to be the last time I shoot this firearm today, let's go ahead and put a couple more rounds in it. Anything else you're dying to know about? Oh yeah, I was going to mention that Chester County, Pennsylvania, you know, that bad dude that escaped from prison up there. Y'all followed that for what, about a week? He was on the run, and people would spot him in that area and everything. And as usual, you know, not to, I guess it was the police, not to pick on them, but you get that those comments, you know, sometimes somebody was advising, I don't know, it was the mayor or who it was, but advising the people around there to, while he was at large, advising people to stay in the house and keep the doors locked, you know, and I was yeah, that'll save you. That'll save you. This guy broke out of a prison. He's murdered, what, a couple of people at least. He's got a firearm. Really agile, apparently. Well, he climbed that wall and got out and all that. And just lock your door. No way he can get into your house, right? I always think that's so funny. When you love to live in a world of reality. Well, let's see, when you love to live in a world where everybody lived in a world of reality, not just you or me, when you just love it as a police, and sometimes you'll see this, but not too often, maybe in Texas or Florida, somewhere Tennessee maybe, but I would love to have heard the police chief, and maybe you did, tell me if you did, but police chief down there or sheriff to recommend people, okay, be on the lookout, people. If you have a firearm, keep it handy. And you know, by your bedside, and be safe, but make sure you got your firearms loaded and handy, and we'll capture this guy and we'll let you know when we get him. You know, I mean, really, just be realistic about it, because everybody who has a firearm is doing that. People who maybe don't even normally carry one, they've been probably legal or not, they're carrying one, I guarantee you, during that week. But what I like to think about especially are the people living in that county, in that area, who are more or less, or very anti-gun, or just more or less anti-gun, don't really see a reason for people to have firearms. They're dangerous. Remember, you're more likely to kill yourself if you have one in the house than in an intruder, you know, all those stupid statistics that make no sense and all that kind of. I like to wonder what was going through their heads as they sat in the living room with the big picture window and glass doors, and knowing there's nothing around their house that would keep somebody out if they wanted to come in. Yeah, and they have no firearm, no means of defense. So I like to think maybe a few people got nudged over into, I think I'll go buy a gun tomorrow, you know, if they didn't have one. Don't you like to think that? I mean, you know, common sense, right? So anyway, and again, people, firearms owners, 99.9%, you know, we always have one, there's always a wacko, right, in every group, you know, some groups, more than one wacko maybe, but people who have firearms are not looking for a chance to use it to hurt anybody. My gosh, I would hate to ever do that. It's only in the defense of my own self or family, you know. Yeah, that's it. It's better to have it, not need it, than need it, not have it. Have absolutely no desire to be out playing Rambo. Yeah, and that's the way gun owners are. They're not looking to be Rambo. It just makes sense to have it, just like a fire extinguisher, a spare tire, you know. That's all it is. And the added benefit of a firearm is it's fun to come out and shoot, you know, shoot targets, right? So whereas your spare tire, your fire extinguisher doesn't offer a lot of entertainment value. So anyway, does that make any sense? Probably not. Probably not. I try to make a little sense at least one time every Sunday, and then at least one time in every gun video. Was this not a gun video? I don't know. I don't know what's what anymore. So I'm going to let you go. And again, I hope I saw some of you in Greenville, Kentucky. Although I might not have, well, you know, so I was going to make a bad joke about not getting the internet up there, but I don't. I've overused that joke. I really have. I used to tell people in videos that I have to ship off the VHS versions of our videos to Kentucky every month. And that's a joke. That's a joke. Some people up there have the internet. I'm from Kentucky, so my whole life, people have made fun of, we made fun of Tennesseans when I lived up there, you know, and they still do, sure. So they make the same jokes about us as we make about them, about, you know, them being rednecks or us being rednecks or backwards, you know. So that's the way it is. You got to have somebody to pick on, right? So anyway, I'm going to let you go, and I hope to see you next Sunday. I really do. We're running right into October before you know it. It's well, next week. It will be October. Can you believe that? It is pumpkin time. I've seen some out there, so I've got to get my sights ready to take out a pumpkin or two and to carve a pumpkin. I always look forward to that. And right now, I'm just started today thinking a little bit about what this year's pumpkin carving tool would be. Which tool am I in the mood to use? And sometimes it's a firearm that I have purchased in the last year, you know, or it's just something never carved a pumpkin with. So I'll be thinking about that. If you got any suggestions, let me know. Now I got to tell you, I got to clue you in again, since I asked for a suggestion or your input maybe. Some things that cause problems carving a pumpkin with a firearm. If it's too, for example, this would be tough. This rifle, it's too powerful. It just tears it up, kind of, even though it's not full of water. Yeah, it's just a problem. Doesn't cut nice clean holes, you know, at all. Even an AK round, you know, it does good. But anyway, ideally, I tell you what works the best in a lot of ways, makes the best face, at least as good as I can make it in a pumpkin with a firearm, is a large caliber handgun. Yeah, is the best choice. Like 44, and then nothing that's like screaming velocity, you know, like 44 Special, 45 ACP. Those are some of the very best. Hey, it reminds me, I got the new FN 45, my bedside gun. That'd be an option. Yeah, we'll think about that. So anyway, so I'm gonna let you go. And I'm gonna reload my FN and put it back in my pocket and carry on. Yeah. So I will see you out here next week, and we will begin to see, oh, I don't know, fewer leaves. Leaves won't be changing color yet for a while, but they'll be falling and drying out a little bit, and a little bit less green over the next few weeks. Yeah, you'll begin to see a difference. And it gets pretty in this part of the country normally. Then it gets ugly when all the leaves are off, you know, through the winter. And you know what it looks like, because I've been over here for years doing this in the same place, camera in the same spot, right? So good to see you all again, and I'll see you next week. I'm afraid I'll see you again, and you'll have to listen to me. Life is good.